Namaskar. Hello, friends. We will start our today's session with some fundamental discussion as to what exactly this physical creation is. In short, what we will be looking at is the metaphysical perspective of the physical creation. As we are all aware, an age old question is what came first, the chicken or the egg? The Darwinists claim that evolution of something led to a chicken first, then the chicken grew into a hen and laid eggs, from which more chicken came out. Thus, the cycle perpetuated. But then the next natural question comes up: what was that original something that evolved, and how did that original something come into existence in the first place? Scientists do not like to accept the concept of an unseen creator who would have created the universe. That is why we have the Big Bang theory. Astrophysicists propose that a primeval soup exploded at one fine moment with a Big Bang, and then the universe evolved gradually from there. But then again, we get stuck with the same question: what was that primeval soup, and how did it come into existence? However, if you ask theists, that is, God believers, they will say that God is the one who created the whole universe. But even they cannot answer the question who created God. So their response is that God, and for that matter the universe itself, are beginningless and endless, like a circle. As it appears to us, there is no beginning or the end of the circle. But how can something be without a beginning? It is said that a solution to an apparently intractable problem often lies in another dimension. Thus, to figure out the beginning of a circle that is a two-dimensional figure, we have to introduce a third dimension, namely the drawer of the circle. As we can figure, the drawer of the circle would certainly have begun at some point and drawn a full circle from there and stopped when the circle was complete. A person looking at the circle can begin anywhere and perpetually keep going round the circle without any end. The perceptible universe is going around the circle likewise, and we do not know what was its beginning or end. Nevertheless, in a higher dimension, the beginning is known and possibly even the end. Okay, now we will look at what exactly would that creator, the original creator, whom in the Indian tradition we call Paramatma or Supreme Soul. The Supreme Soul, the Paramatma, is singular. He feels like becoming many and hence splits himself into many embodied souls, that is, Jivatmas. And these myriad embodied souls are to be experienced by the Paramatma. The experience that the Jivatma gets in this world is necessarily based on the concept of duality. hot and cold, soft and hard, etc. It is like a king sending many of his spies in all the different directions. Each one will gather a different set of information. Each one may have some information that is useful in its own different way. Each one may also have some information that may not quite be useful, but taken together, the king can make good use of the information brought in by the different spies. If one spy happens to be assigned a particular region which is quite friendly to our king, there may not be anything of particular interest happening there. On the other hand, a spy going into some other region may come to know of some secret happenings there that may be of interest to the king. In short, the information may or may not be of any value to the king, and it has no bearing on the individual spy, nor does it entail any comparisons between the different spies. Similarly, the Paramatma uses each Jivatma to experience a particular subset of the huge number of possibilities of the dual experiences. It therefore follows that each Jivatma cannot be expected to experience everything that this world has on offer. It also follows that there is no point in comparing the experience of one Jivatma with those of the other, because it is just some way the Paramatma has distributed the task of getting all the different experiences. Now, I'll put a disclaimer. I am not saying that the Paramatma is actually and literally sending us as spies. It is just an allegory to drive home the concept of the variety and the different roles of each individual in the totality. When looking at the metaphysical, excuse me, the metaphysical aspects of the physical creation, one of the most profound concepts is of gunas. In the Indian philosophical tradition, this concept of gunas is very important. It is said that we are made up of three gunas, and each one of us has a different combination of each of these three gunas. Now, what are these three gunas? They are called sattva, rajas, and tamas. The primary characteristic of sattva guna is spiritual orientation. That of rajas is self-interest and enjoyment in the material world. And tamas guna causes laziness and blunders arising out of ignorance about this creation, which causes harm to others. Depending on the relative proportion of these three gunas, each one of us lives his or her life in an individual way. For those scientifically minded, I may even say that gunas may be nothing but the genes that we are made up of. Okay, friends, we will stop here after having looked at the metaphysics of the physical creation. We will come back tomorrow again with the next discussion. Thank you. Goodbye.